What's up everyone? My name is Ben and I am a runner who's a running coach who specializes in strength and conditioning, plant-based nutrition, stress management and epigenetic profiling. I'm kind of documenting my journey and trying to run as fast as I can, in particular when it comes to the half marathon. And what I'm trying to do is give you the advice that I've learned over the last 15 years when it comes to working in the strength and conditioning industry and working as a plant-based advocate slash nutritionist. So today's video is something where we're all guilty of when it comes to runners: lack of mobility training. And now mobility is just strength and flexibility combined. It's something that often gets neglected when it comes to our training, but it is vital when it comes to helping to speed up recovery and improve performance and improve our strength and cardio aspect as well. We know for runners, we get really tight through our ankles, through our knees, hips, spine, pretty much everywhere. We're known to be quite tight. So doing these kind of mobility flows is going to really help to speed up recovery, get stronger, fitter, so forth. So everything what I'm going to show you today is body weight based. You don't need any equipment. It's all about you just moving yourself in as many different positions as possible, and that's the key. You do not want to lose the ability to move in as many different positions as we should be able to. If we do, we become deficient. If we become deficient, then that will have a negative impact on our running. So that's enough of me kind of talking what we're going to go through today. It's kind of like a follow along. If you have any questions, obviously leave them in the comment section below. But if you like this video, obviously click the like button, subscribe, share it, show it to as many different runners as we can, because if they can include what I'm going to show you in the next couple of minutes, it's not only going to help improve the health, but it's also going to help improve their performance, and that's what I'm after.
So what you can see here is me doing some wrist drills, really important when it comes to helping to release the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders and your neck. And if you're going to be doing some of the movements which are crawling like movements, really important because you're putting a lot of pressure on the wrist area. And if you're spending a lot of time on your computer, this would be something to help offset doing these movements on a regular basis. Just be careful of your spine as well. Don't let your spine round when you're doing these wrist drills. But a couple of minutes doing this is a great way to kind of start as a warm-up. The next drill is shoulder mobility. So doing some shoulder circles going forwards and back, some crossovers and some halos are going to help to really lubricate them shoulders when it comes to releasing something called synovial fluid. And this is kind of like an oil for the joints. It keeps them healthy. And at the same time, when you're doing these movements, you're going to be activating your spine. In particular, for the halo, you want to be making sure that you are flexing and extending your back. So flexing just means kind of hiding and crunching in. And then when you're putting your hands behind your back, you're really thinking about opening the chest out. And that's going to be really good when it comes to helping to open up the thoracic spine. Right, from here, what we're doing is some lower leg work. So we're just going to go for some leg raises, making sure we're trying to keep your leg as straight as you can, have your toes pointing down. And from that, you're going to get a release through the calf, hamstring, and it's going to help to lubricate that hip joint. From there, we go for circles. So we're trying to keep the opposite hip down, stuck on the floor. So we're really trying to get that hip articulating and moving around as well as it can, just to help to release any unnecessary pressure. And the aim for this is go for 10 reps of each of these exercises. The next exercise for the hip is known as the frog. This is quite an intense exercise. Just be careful about how far you push back. Just make sure you keep your spine neutral, knees as wide as you can. This is going to hit the inside of your legs, and you're just gently pushing your bum back and forth for about 20 reps. The next position is squat walk. So you get into a bottom of a squat, and then the aim is you want to walk your hands towards your feet and eventually sit in the bottom of a squat. This is a position we're not used to being in, so practicing being in this position is going to allow you to improve overall mobility. Take your time and only walk in as far as you can, 10 reps if possible. So the first exercise in this routine is known as a gorilla walk. I promise I do not make these names up. And the purpose for this is you want to really think about trying to keep your spine as upright as possible. You can say I'm using an aid here. The aim eventually is to have your hands on the floor. But the key is you don't want to compromise your spine position, so you don't want to round too much. This is really going to open up the spine. It's going to hit the hips and it hits the ankles. And I look to do this for around 2 to 3 minutes, going back and forth. Really good test. From here, we're going into the crab walk. So this is really going to be good to open up the chest. It's going to get your back working, your glutes, your hamstrings, so the posterior chain. And the purpose of this is you're just really trying to move back and forth. You can even go from side to side. And this is going to improve your posterior chain whilst loosening off the anterior side, so the front of you. So vitally important, and something that is a lot harder than it seems. The following exercise is known as a frog. This is a great exercise not only to help improve your strength through your core, so your abs, your chest and your shoulders and arms, but it's also going to help to open out your legs and strengthen your legs as well. So we're beginning in the bottom of the squat position and we're just transitioning from one squat to another. Take your time on this one, expect your quads to burn, and just remember we're trying to keep your body as upright as possible, so we're really trying to open out that spine and get them abs working as well. Following the frog, I go into the bear walk, and now the bear walk is probably one of my favorite exercises. Not only is it hitting the bottom of your feet, it's hitting the Achilles, the calf, hamstrings, lower back, but it's also strengthening the top half of your spine, and it's strengthening the shoulders. It gets the abs working as well, and it's a really good way just to help lengthen out all them areas that get really tight associated with running. If you struggle to do this exercise at first, I would recommend keeping your legs bent and then starting from that, and then as you improve, the aim is to try and get your legs as straight as you can. Just focus on your breathing as well, because a lot of people tend to hold their breath, especially when they're going upside down. So we're going back into the squat sort of movement, but we're moving to the side, so that's known as laterally, and it's something that not enough runners do when it comes to looking to do strength or mobility work. So this exercise, you're in the bottom of a squat and then you're transferring your weight from your feet to your hands and then landing in that position. So it's working upper body strength and your legs at the same time, and it will also feel this in your stomach. Take your time when you do this movement. The slower you can go, the harder this movement will become. From here, we're going into probably my second favorite movement, which is known as either a spiderman or spider person if we're politically correct, or a lizard. And this is really getting the hips rotating, it's getting the spine rotating as well, and it's a form of a press up. You can make this harder or easier depending on your strength and flexibility level, but the purpose of here, you're just really trying to twist your body, and it's opposite hand and foot moving forward. So really good for hip rotation as well. It feels so great on the outside of your hip, and if you've got any pressure in your lower back, expect a lot of clicks and pops when doing this. The next exercise is a very, very popular exercise amongst runners, and this is known as an inchworm. The key of this is you're trying to move one part of your body at one time. So you start off in a kind of a downward dog position, and then you walk your hands out to go into a cobra stretch. So this is going to open up the spine. Then you walk your feet in, and you repeat that process. So it's going to be working your upper body, it's going to be working your abs, it's going to be working your back, it's going to be working up the hamstrings, calves as well. So it hits pretty much everywhere. It gets your heart rate up very quickly. And what you can do with this exercise is you can add so many little alternatives to it. So as you can see, what I'm demonstrating here is just going into the cobra, which is the spine stretch. But from there, you can go into a full plank position, and that just means when your hands are straight, and then add some thoracic rotation, so just twisting up. And by doing that, it should be helping to improve the body's ability to twist, and it's hitting the abs big time. You can add so many different things into this routine, and you do not need much room. An excellent exercise, and I would highly recommend every runner to start doing this. The final exercise of this routine is a bent leg bear walk. Really good to get your abs working. I don't do crunches, I just do this exercise. It's going to be working your arms, it's working the abs, it's working the legs. And the aim for you is to try and stay as low as you can to the floor without your knees being on the floor, and then moving opposite hand and leg, moving forwards. You can go backwards, you can go from side to side. Really test an exercise, and it has so many benefits. It improves your spine, it improves hip health, it gets your quads stronger, and it's going to stretch out your Achilles. So highly recommend this one.
Right guys, that's the end of the video. If you've made it through to here, well done. Hopefully you give the exercises a go, and maybe you found areas that might be a little bit tighter and things that you can work on. If you have any questions, as I mentioned, put them in the comment section below. I have all my details through here, and if you want to follow me on Strava as well, alongside on Instagram where I post on a daily basis, have a look on there, and obviously you can reach out to me on them as well. But apart from then, remember, you've got to move to improve, look after yourselves, and take care.